start with the PPF, the photosynthetic photon flux. It's how a plant sees the light output. What does that mean? Well, compare that to how you see the light output of a regular bulb. We call that lumens. The PPF is the same idea. All you really need to know is the higher the PPF number, the more light the lamp puts out, the more nourishment the plant will get. So when you're in the aisle looking at different grow light brands, simply look for the lamp with the highest number. Not to brag, but we're pretty sure you'll end up choosing ours. When it comes to bulb technology, LED is definitely recommended. They're energy efficient, they put out very little heat, and they last a long time, which means fewer trips to the store. Now for choosing the right light spectrum. The balanced light spectrum is recommended for the seeding stages of plants that flower and grow fruit, and for the entire growth cycle of plants that do not flower or produce fruit, aka greens. And the advanced red light spectrum is recommended for flowering and fruit growth stages of a plant. Okay, so you've found the right lights for your plants, but what about you? Most grow lights put out an unpleasant purple color, like this. Not ours. Our light appears white and natural, which not only helps you inspect the plant better, but it gives you complete freedom to put your garden anywhere in your house. Sorry, dingy basement, this little guy is going in the living room. Now, of course, lighting is only part of the growing equation. Here are a few other things to consider. Add finding the perfect light to this list, and you're on your way to a happy plant.
Here are tips on how to use LED grow lights. One 2-foot grow light covers a 2-foot square area. If you have more space, you may need more light. Full spectrum lights promote seeding, leaf, and stem growth. For flowering plants, supplement with red enhanced light to encourage budding, flowering, and fruiting. Remember to use premium soil and nutrients and water plants regularly. Hang grow lights 6 inches above flowering plants initially, and then raise to 18 to 24 inches when they start budding. For herbs and leafy greens, hang the fixture 12 inches above plants from seeding to 2 weeks of vegetative growth, and then raise to 24 inches to 30 inches. Leave the lights on for 18 hours and off for 6 hours. If pre-flowers appear, adjust the cycle to 12 hours on and 12 hours off to induce flowering and budding.
From Platinum LED Grow Lights. Today we're going to do another side-by-side. This time we're going to put a 600 watt HPS against our P450, which is a 600 watt HPS replacement. What we'll do is we'll measure the actual PAR output, which is the intensity level, and the spectral output, which relates to spectral efficiency and how what you're putting out is actually being absorbed by green chlorophyll. These two factors and these two factors alone, as you know by now, equal the actual growing power of any horticultural light. So first of all, for the sake of validity and keeping everything fair, we're going to measure our environment. First we have the wattage draw. This one's coming in right in at 662 watts, all right? Full power digital ballast, 600 watt HPS. Next, the hanging height. We're going to show you that it's right at about 24 inches, which again, is about low for an HPS, but we're going to do this fair, apples to apples. All right, the first part of the data, we're gonna measure the PAR, which is the light intensity. Center point, that's gonna come in right at about 800 micromoles. All right. Now, as you know, PAR is only one half of the value. It's not weighted. It's simply how intense is the light. The other part is the actual spectral output that you're putting out and how that relates to what chlorophyll is absorbing. So, we'll do a brand new fresh hit with the UPR Tech spectrometer. And you'll see again, that it's a big peak right in the area that plants are not even really absorbing it, right in the greens and yellows. So this means that only about 50% of what you're actually putting out is being absorbed by the plants. The rest is being refracted back off into space. So that half of that power that you're burning, half of that heat that you're generating, is completely wasted and useless. Now, the other part of this is, as you know, the less electricity you're consuming, the less heat you're going to be making. All right, we can measure this with a laser thermometer. Putting it at the center point of the refraction, right around 141 degrees Fahrenheit, okay, which is blazing hot. Not only that, do you have a high surface temperature, you have a high bulb temperature being burned by that one exact bulb. This in turn heats up the reflector, which it becomes a heat radiator, and heats up the entire room. We're sweating just sitting here in front of it. Now, this high temperature burns your leaves, burns your trichomes, stresses plants out. We don't want plant stress, we want happy plants. All right, next up the P450 and how it compares. All right, now to measure our Platinum LED P450, which is our 600 watt HPS replacement. Again, to make sure we're playing on a level playing field here, we're gonna show you our wattage draw, which is coming in right in around 260, 265 watts, less than half of that 600 watt HPS. And we're also gonna show you the hanging height, all right? Apples to apples, 24 inches. Now for the data that matters. First, the intensity level, PAR. We'll find that the center point at 24 inches is right around a little over 960 micromoles right now. Now remember that PAR is only the intensity level. It's not weighted. So you can have a high PAR level or an intense light, but if it's putting out an inefficient light that isn't adhering to actually what green chlorophyll is absorbing, then what's the actual growing power? So the other half of the power of the light is the spectral output. We'll go ahead and measure that. And we'll see that thanks to the 12 band output, that we can create a spectral output that as closely matches what the green chlorophyll is absorbing, including IR, UV, and everything else in between. This is the actual spectral efficiency in the other half of the growing power. So that you can see, with less than half the power